Okay, how English language was implanted, introduced, and established in Nigeria, eventually um, leading it to occupy its current vantage position as a second language. This is the this is like the fourth time this course will be telling us it's a second language. Do not say because you most people speak English in Nigeria, then you say that English is the first language. It's a second language, L2. All right. So the text of this unit, that's your unit four. Unit four is English as a second language in Nigeria and its implantation. The text acknowledges that English was transported from its traditional home, Britain, resulting in the formation of geographical varieties like Nigerian English. Okay, so I'm going to give you a summary of Unit 4. This is my summary. So don't worry, I touched the main parts. It's a very, very interesting summary. Very short, very comprehensive. Something that, we can. So this is ENG 151. Okay, and there. All right. So, like I said, okay, so the geographical formation of geographical varieties. We talked about geographical varieties before. We have the Ghanaian English, we have the Nigerian English. The way the Ghanaians pronounce their words are different from the way we pronounce our own words. So those formation of geographical varieties. Now, while the exact date of introduction is unknown, all right, of this whole English thing, scholars suggest the language arrived in the 16th century. 16th century, like the 1508, 1500, like that. The implantation was attributed to several key interconnected non-forceful factors, leading to a process described as diplomacy rather than force. All right. So, what that means is they came in the aspect of, oh, let us trade, let us do business together. You can learn my language so that it can be easy for us to trade. You can teach your people my religion. Okay, they came into religion. They first came through trade. You know, try to play with us with trade. And Africa was very rich then, especially West Africa. We were rich in so many things like the gold, and other resources. We had gold. We had good soil texture, agriculture. Oh my God, we were so good. As of then, as of in the 80s, that's the 19th century, Nigeria was so rich that the United States respected us. That's how it is. I think it was 75 kobo to a dollar then because our exportation on granite alone, just granite, nah, 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 nah. It was a world kind of, you know, it was a world record as of then. So we were so vast in agriculture. And these people understand the fact that if we remain like that, we'll overthrow them. So they had to control. You understand? Um, they had to control. So they came in the name of non-forceful factors. That's what they call it. They say it was through diplomacy. You and I know how our forefathers suffered in the slave trade. Okay, you and I know that. All right, so they came in trade. Let us trade, let us do commerce, and you can learn my language, and we can be able to understand each other. They came through religion, Christianity, and let's bring in this religion and to know the true God. We're not saying Christianity is bad. Actually, Jesus Christ did exist. History have that Jesus Christ existed. But most of these white people turned it into a political gain. They used religion as a tool so that they can control and manipulate resources in the world. in places where it's in abundance. Okay, so they came in through religion, they introduced their religion so that they can be able to manipulate. Then they came in through education. Let us teach. Most of the curriculum that we have were designed by the whites. Even in the universities, were designed solely by the whites. If you can imagine what that means. So imagine another country or a whole different continent is controlling what runs in the mind of the youths and controlling what runs in the mind of adults or what runs in the minds of children. That's the future of the country. They have you on their fingertips, they have you within their grasp. They can snap their fingers and things will happen because they are controlling your mental focus. They're controlling the entire thing that's going to control the nation, which is the mind. If they have the mind under control, they don't need so much force. People automatically will just act accordingly, just as if you have your players on the field acting according to how you've trained them when it comes to a match or a formation. So, and after the education, they came through colonization. Bam, colonized us, controlled us, cut us into, you know, like meat, divided us, and put in borders and all those kind of stuff. Bam, they got us there. All right, so now the implantation was said to be described as diplomacy rather than force. So they came in through the trade or commerce in the 16th century. English was initially brought by traders, right? So it was brought by traders. They were establishing active trade contact with the West African coast. The type of English introduced then was pidgin English. So you can understand, you can you can imagine.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can hear you.
The pidgin English. Do you mean this current pidgin English we use?
Yes, the same pidgin English. As of then, the problem is, as of then, we could not really understand what they were saying. So traders could understand a little, but what traders could grasp is if they mix some little things together. Pidgin English is incomplete English, or something that actually makes sense to us that we can understand. So the type of English that was introduced then was Pidgin English. That's what they were speaking, and that's what they used to trade. This was around the this was around the 16th century. Pidgin English. In addition to this, the transatlantic slave trade, you know, the one that actually had to deal with slave trade, where our fellow black men were selling, our fellow black kings and chiefs were selling our black people for cheap textiles, mirror and gunpowder. Up to now, we still repeat all these things. Look at the north with the killings in the north. You kill some people, drive them away from their land. You call foreigners to come and mine the resources that are there. Slave trade is still happening. It's just now it is new colonialism. It's no longer colonization. God help those people. I don't see them. All right, so the transatlantic slave trade also aided implantation, both as a tool for slave traders to transact with local intermediaries and through freed slaves. When we talk about free slave, there are people that bought their freedom. Okay, so they'll work for some amount of years and then, you know, they'll buy their freedom. So Sierra Leone and Liberia, returning places like Badagry. Badagry was like one of the bus stop for slave trade. That's why when go to Badagry, you want to go on tourism, you go to Badagry, you see a lot of things concerning um, slave trade and all that. Badagry was like one of the it was like one of the main bus stop for slave trade. One sec. It was one of the main bus stop for slave trade then. So returning places like Badagry and Lagos, these returnees that are actually free, okay, they spread the language and served as clerks and interpreters to missionaries and colonial administrators. So as of that time when they were now free, oh, they would now come back and start interpreting, you know, the English language to us in pidgin. So that was the way that we were able to understand as of then. And you believe that if you're coming back from there, you're a big man. Oh my God, he just came back from the United States. The same people that the same people that flogged your forefathers and slapped them on their head and put them inside boats, took them to that place, walked their ass off in their country. In fact, some of them forgot their ancestors.
Ah,
And a lot of people will calm down and be praising them. Let me not talk too much.
the one you have talked about. Okay, you are not in the mood to talk.
I'm not in the mood. If I start talking, we
But
should-
you are in the spirit.
something like that. So these returnees, they came back to spread the language, and they served as clerks and interpreters to missionaries and colonial administrators.
Aba, ẹ káalẹ́ sà. Yes, sir. Aba, adúpẹ́.
Okay. So now they came in through trade, right? They came to see that these people have been eating us slowly, and up to now, they're still eating us. You see what Donald Trump is doing, where he said he's going to invade. We don't even know their true intentions. One, our people are suffering. Our politicians are using people's lives to play Ludo. Now, Trump have said it before, we need to be colonized again because it's as if we clearly don't know what we're doing. Before the colonizers left the country, they don't want us to actually wake up because if we wake up, it means that their economy will run down. Before they left the country, they must have said, do not allow your citizens or give your citizens so much freedom. At least there should be good roads, but don't educate all of them. Let hunger just wipe some of them. Now, the white man would have said, but at least let some certain percentage of people be okay. The white man would have said, oh, let there be hunger just a little. We our own. The leaders, they are like overdoing their work. I'm sure the white man is even shocked that the way these people are carrying out the wickedness is higher than they expected. Like the wickedness our leaders are doing is far exceeding their own. So they are wondering that these people are overdoing their work that we give to them. Because obviously it's an agenda. You see a lot of white people come out and say they have to keep Africa impoverished. I really love this unit because it talks about how this English language entered our system, and up to now, they've been eating us slowly till date. I'm sure you're listening to the news, right? So till date, they've been eating us slowly, and up now they, well, then they came through religion. So our continent now, not only through trade, okay, not only through trade, right, or slave traders are back from the trade fair and all that, or back from slavery after they've been burnt, beaten, blue, black. Some were even forced to meet the one with the highest number of children will be given freedom. So they allow them to mate so they can resell the children. Jesus Christ. Okay. These are the same people we put on our head, and when you see them, you open your hands to shake them very well. When they say well done, you feel like the well done is coming from heaven. Oh God. Uh, Anyways, they came in through religion. The continent was opened to the outside world by the exploration activities, such as the Landa brothers, right? Such as the Landa brothers, Clapperton, Mungo Park. Okay, now they had a lot of explorations to make. Christian missionary activities began after these explorations. Okay, the missionary activities contributed immensely to the implantation of English in Nigeria because it was through these missionaries they built schools, they built hospitals. They were actually building things. At least when they were in power, at least there was still light. They would say, okay, give the people light for like 17 hours. Nigeria will blink the light in a day. Now blink, they go blink 'em. Like the whites will be like, okay, don't give them light for the whole 24 hours. You can give your people light for 17 hours. Don't just make them feel we're blinking the light for our own people. We're blinking it. So the white man is even shocked that ah, we carry this wickedness on our head. Eh? At the same time, they are happy, but they are shocked. They thought probably they are the ones that are wicked. They don't know that the people that they put inside power, they will want to kill their own fellow citizens but with their own hand. Overdo the wickedness. So the Christian missionaries, all in the name of Christianity, not knowing that through Christianity they were going to build schools, build hospitals. Now it was not only trade, it was not only selling of our people for mirrors, guns, and cheap textiles, or gunpowders and cheap textiles. It was now, meanwhile, the textiles, more textiles were even produced from us. They got most of the natural resources from us to produce the textiles. Like, oh God. Anyways, so they brought in the church, and the church would come in, and then they started educating people on English. They spread the missionary activities, and most of the activities started in places like Abeokuta, Badagry, where the churches were established. Schools were open to train people as catechists, okay, and so on. Those like Catholic people and all that. Fine, very good. Then they came in with education. Fantastic move. These guys are so brilliant. The Western education arrived simultaneously with Christian missionary activities, just like what I said. While the Christians were doing their missionaries, trying to conquer us in the mind, because the best way you can conquer a nation is when you steal the mind away from them. And about this Catholic and all that, it came from the Roman circles. Now, the Romanian Empire, what they did is that they needed to control people. And the best way to control people is to seize their belief. So they spread out Christianity and they turned it into a political game and created the Catholic Church. And nowadays you don't worship Jesus, you worship the Pope. You tell them some things about Jesus Christ and all that, they might even be countering it. I'm telling you, oh, the Pope is this, the Pope is that. Pope will be human being. So what really happened is that spreading out this Christianity, there's a letter. Oh, there is a letter I want to show you about the missionaries. I think I still have that letter. I do speak on a podcast. So on that podcast, I talk about, you know, our African heritage and how we should unite and bring our country back. So there was a letter concerning these missionaries. I hope I get this letter. I'm going to share that letter to you guys. Then you see the true meaning of what or the true mission of the so-called missionaries. All right, so I'm going to forward this to you guys. Just take a look at this letter. If some people come down, be praising these white people like their gods. All right, so this letter was actually found. Um, this letter was actually the actual letter that was given to missionaries that were coming into Africa, and I quote: "So the task that was given to the missionaries to fulfill the task, hey Debbie, long time. The task that's given to fulfill is very delicate and requires much tact. The missionary, this was the letter that was given to them. You will go certainly to evangelize, but your evangelism must inspire all Belgium interest." See where it was coming from? From Europe. "Your principal objective in our mission in the Congo is never to teach the savages to know God. This they already know. They speak and submit to a Mungu, Nzambi, Zakumba, and what else I don't know. They know that to kill, to sleep with someone else's wife, to lie, and to insult is bad. They already know all those things, meaning that we have moral ethics. Have courage to admit it. You are not going to teach them what they know already. Your essential role is to facilitate the task of administrators and industrials and industries or industrials, which means you will go to interpret the gospel in a way that it will be best to protect your interests in that part of the world. For these things, you have to keep watch on disinteresting our savages from the richness that is plenty in their ground. To avoid that, they get interested in it and make you murderers, competition, and dream one day to overthrow you. So, what you're going to do now, your knowledge of the gospel will allow you to find text ordering and encouraging your followers to love poverty. You see, they actually came, they had an agenda with this missionary stuff. It's not as if Christ is actually very good. Yes, we know Christ is good. Uh, okay, hot mic. Okay, so we know that Christ is good. We understand. The thing is that we already had this moral ethics. And so when they came to Africa, when they introduced the missionary and the churches to Africa, when they came to Nigeria especially and introduced all these things, our leaders and the greed that we had, the kings that we had, the greed and all that they put in, okay, consumed them because this greed, the black man is very potent. So I feel like the greed is even times two in the black man compared to that of the white man. So since we are so potent, our greed too will be potent. You understand? So our greed will be deeper. If we're kind, if people are kind, the black kindness will be more. If people love, black love will be the real love. If people are greedy, black greed will be the dangerous greed. You get what I'm saying? So they came in, they talked about how their agenda is going to be, and then steal the mind from these people. Because if you can take away the mind from these people, it's over. The Christian missionaries activity began. The missionary activities contributed to the implantation of English in Nigeria. It also stole the minds of us, of people. English began to be taught and learned as a subject on the school curriculum. Who put it in the school curriculum? The missionaries, the people. So for them to come to your own country and build schools, eh, first of all, the same people who burnt our libraries, the same people who burnt. Somebody was telling me that most of the libraries or most of the things were Egypt. And I told the guy that look, the thing is, you actually don't know the full history. Okay, you don't know the full um What's that? I told the guy, you don't know the full history of the entire Africa. If you had it been you've known the full history of Africa itself, you wouldn't say all these things. Okay? You wouldn't say things like this. First of all, they came in and let me see. I want to check for something. Okay. So first of all, they came in into the golden age. They burnt the Timbuktu. They had we had libraries that talked about various sicknesses. We had things that introduced malaria. When we talked about malaria and we said that what causes malaria, we said we said that hot mic, hot mic. We said that what causes malaria was mosquitoes. Okay, in the early centuries, they didn't allow this. All right. The Timbuktu had books. They burnt the libraries. They burnt things. The journey. Okay, the journey were good traders of gold. They destroyed their temple. All right. So they came in, the same people that burnt your library so that you will not know your history, you will not know your roots. They said the cause of malaria was was the air, bad air. The meaning of malaria, mal aria. Mal means bad, aria is air. So that's what the European thought. And when they came to meet the Africans, and the Africans said, no, this thing was caused by this insect, by mosquitoes. They refused. But later, in the 19th century, somebody proposed that malaria was actually caused by mosquitoes and talked about it, and they gave him a Nobel Peace Prize. Something that was already discovered long time ago, hundreds of years ago. But what are you going to say? They will burn our history, they will burn our libraries, and then they'll come and build schools in the very nation that they burnt their history and their libraries and remove their culture. And then they will teach you their language and take away your mind. Then they call it missionary. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Anyways, that's what they'll call it. Missionary. Alright. So they came in through religion. And most of these activities started in places like Badagry and Abeokuta, that's Ogun State. Now, the missionaries exposed Nigerians to English by training locals as clerks, interpreters, catechisists in newly established churches and schools. Then they came in with education, of course, marking the beginning of formal acquisition of English in Nigeria, and then made English compulsory in the country so that they can keep on having control. Do you see that they have us by the balls? It is almost difficult to get their hands off us. They have us completely. They now brought in education and built schools. English began to be taught and learned as a subject on the school curriculum. Who created the curriculum? The educational system initially focused on language related activities. And whenever you speak your own language, they say that you're speaking vernacular. And vernacular is not allowed. I am so surprised that even in schools now, when you speak Yoruba, some schools will say, do not speak vernacular. Are we and I look at the school administrators and I'm like, are you guys still blind to this very age that you wouldn't let our children speak the native language that came out from their soil? So we still want to be trapped. You call our own indigenous language, you call it vernacular, just like saying they are barbaric or the language is something not understood or forbidden. So you insult our indigenous languages, the language that draws blood in our very veins, the one that belongs to the soil of the ground. You call it vernacular because that, as of then, in the 60s, my mom usually tell me then that growing up in schools, they were not allowed to speak languages. You can't speak it. They called it vernacular. Yes. Does it mean we'll still repeat the same thing now? Can't we wake up? So the the educational system then was initially focused on language related activities, reading and writing, and all these things were to support the missionaries' work. So if they're training you so that you can work under them. Do you see the whole idea of schooling? The whole idea of schooling is train people so that they cannot come outside the box. They will remain in the box. They won't be able to come
So,
outside the box
sorry, sir.
to, yeah.
Sorry, sir. So, education is a scam then.
Education is not scam.
The issue of
Education,
education,
have you
no,
done,
is the
have you
but
done,
it's like a slave trade or something like that.
have you done, no, no, that's not education. That's schooling. Have you done philosophy of,
Schooling.
you've done philosophy of education. We
Yes, yes,
discussed,
yes. You've done it.
we discussed the
Yeah.
difference between education and schooling.
Why white man? I can't pray for a white man again because of some. You know the way you're talking now, because you are digging out some uh, deep facts and facts and figures that was not there before. But they are just trying to realize that. So that means that they were coming us then. So
Actually, yes, they had, they had an
they had
initiative.
an ulterior.
Yes, they had a plan, and the plan still carries out till today. Their
I
plan
have a
still stands.
question.
Yes.
So may we come tell them, say make God punish them, make them go take their education where they give us. We should go back to the farm.
Actually, we speak English on empty stomach.
We form an name system across.
Okay, Annie.
Yeah, I'm listening, sir.
Okay. If if you had the power, I have this question. My question goes like, if you have the power to choose one official language, like if you had to remove English as official language in Nigeria, what
Yeah.
language would you suggest that
Yeah,
we should use as our
Eh,
general language?
and
Èdè
As
abínibí wa ni.
and that's the point, Annie. The point is we were never a country. Now, the idea of these people or the colonizers is that they came in through the west, through the southwest or the southern Nigeria. And when they noticed it, they were like, okay, the Europeans were like, these people in the southern part are very intelligent. They were Igbos. We had the Hausa, that's what they called the entire region. Those people were big. They called them the Hausa and Fulani. Then we had Benin. We had the Oyo Empire. We had the Kupe region. Okay, so these people. Then we had the we had other tribes. Now we were all separate. They discovered that if they should draw the line, you know that the map of Africa was never really decided by us. It was planned in Belgium, Germany, where the G7 countries came together, sat down on a round table, and cut us like a piece of meat. No, this part belongs to me. No, I'm the one taking this part. No, I'm the one that's going to take Congo. Portugal is like, no, I should own this one. Like they shared us. They drew the map and they shared us. So they shared us like meat and because everybody wants to take their own cake. They drew the map for us. Now, talk about the fact that we were never a country. We were separate individual people that had their own land, had their own rules, had their own way of living. And for the fact that as of then, our fathers or the forefathers in Africa knew that using the mud house will give a cooling effect internally than the one outside. They understood that fact. As of last year, United Kingdom started using clay to build and they said it's a discovery. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Ṣé ṣé
They started using clay to build houses and now they're saying it's a wonderful discovery. Mud houses that our forefathers have been building. When our forefathers were building, they called us primitive. The reason is because it will last longer. Secondly, it has a cooling effect. So when there's heat outside, when you get into your hut, everywhere is cold, everywhere is chilly. It's like natural AC. That's how it is. And then when it is cold outside, the thatch roof will bring heat and warm the house. So are you going to tell me that those men did not understand their own very architecture or the walls that were built in Benin? Are you going to tell me that they were not educated? These people that discovered what malaria was and discovered what other sickness was, and Infotaf that discovered the biomolecular chemistry, and the Timbuktus that had libraries that talked about various molecular theories. Are you going to tell me that after burning all these things and destroying all these things, they had to cloud us together because they could gain and benefit? We cannot control these people from the south, but we can control them from the north. When they went to the north, it was very easy to communicate with the Hausas. The Hausas were, will I say, open. They were not going to question so much, and they allowed them in. So instead, let us control these people. Since the north has a lot of population, we join them together, we control them, give the power to the north so that we can still be able to draw the resources from the south, put them all together as one country, amalgate these people. After that is done, give them an official language, let them speak so that we can unite them. The language didn't actually unite us at all. We're still we're still having problem. Up till now, people are still having tribal issues, ethnic issues. So the whole narrative of what will be the official we were not from the beginning a country to start with. I'm writing a book on that. I'm going to publish it next year. We're actually not a country from the beginning. Were we ever a country? That's the question. So the whole part of the English language and all that is so that they can gain control and power, which they still do up to now. So Nigeria is just a facade created by Flora Shaw and the likes of Lord Lugard. It's just a facade. So to empower more people in the West, to empower more people in Europe and the Western countries, America and the likes, France. Right now, France has changed three prime ministers because every minister is saying, oh, they are going to find a way to stabilize their country. Find a way. They cannot stabilize the country because Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Senegal, the Sahel states, almost all the Sahel states have withdrawn from France. They've sent France back home. They've increased their rate of natural resources. They've paid off their debts. And now France is shaking. Over 20 countries in Europe is shaking because three small African countries, like what they would call us primitive people, have decided to say no. Now imagine the entire Africa wakes up. You know what happened to the world? If ordinary three African countries is shaking a whole continent, then imagine Africa waking up. And that's why they want to kill leaders that have dreams like that. So the way that we're going to say English is our official language, yes, it has grown to be our official language because it was connively, cunningly set in place. I wouldn't say they bewitched us because our own leaders then and kings were greedy enough to sell us out. And now they changed the kingship, they changed the leadership and put in political leaders so that they can control easily. So the power will not be with the kings anymore. The power will be with the puppets that they put on seats. And then obviously they use whichever ways. Oh, tell that country that they need to put in. France was sending threats to Burkina Faso, but they did not listen. And because of this now, they've changed the prime ministers. People, they slap their prime ministers. Europe is shaking. Europe is in trouble. It's affecting them slowly. And very soon, the West, United States, and they will all fall. Already, their statistics in Economic World Forum is falling. They know, but they don't want to admit it. We have economists coming out from US and saying that it's over, it's game over, we're going down. They know they're going down. Few years to come, they already there's no repair to their economy. Then now imagine Africa should wake up because guess what? With all the sufferings and taking away from Africa and sucking our resources and mining secretly and doing all sorts, I don't know. God's hand still blesses Africa. As if the resources won't finish. The English language was a mission. Oh, and yes, it was brought in by missionaries. So now we've grown into it, and we feel that we were born into the English language, which is not right. So, as of this point, they call it a dodge. We cannot. It's an unrepairable damage, a damage that can never be repaired. So we just have to live with it. There is no, there is no solution to it, or saying that there's a one language that can unite the people. The people were never a people in the first place. There's no one language that can unite the people. Even the same pidgin, it's not everybody that can even still speak the pidgin. So we're damaged already. Now we have to live with it due to the choices made from puppets that we call leaders. Educational system initially focused on language related activities, and they use these language related activities to support missionary works. Any, do you have clarity on that question now?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, after using implantation through education, they came in with colonialism. Ha! They came about with colonialism. Now everything has been set. First of all, they came in with trade. After trade, they came in with a missionary. That's the religion. Then they built schools and started the education to strip off the minds of the youth, to strip off the entire nation. And then they brought in colonialism. What is happening now is neo-colonialism. It's just a renowned way of colonialism. There's still slave trade going on. They have to ensure. They were very scared when we discovered oil. They were scared because our economy skyrocketed. We were so powerful. That's what they were calling us, the giants, the giants, the giants. Now the giant don't go sleep. We were hello. All right, sorry about that. I don't know how come I left the call like that. So we were so powerful, and they have to keep us low. If they can keep us low, if they can keep us like that, they can dingle a dollar in front of us, and then we'll pursue it. So instead of using force this time around, they're going to use economics. push us to feel that their country is the greener pastures. Meanwhile, we stand beneath the greener pastures itself. We stand beneath the greener pastures itself. And then we move over to places where they're not, green at all. And we take that. So, missionary efforts are suggested to have prepared the way for British colonialism. You see the plan? They prepared the way, they cleared the way. It was a perfect plan. They prepared the way for British colonialism. And the English language is identified as one of the major legacies inherited from the British colonial government. They call it a legacy. They call it a legacy. I call it a very damaged memory. So, since its inception, English has played many vital roles, and its impact is felt in almost all facets of life in Nigerian society because it has eaten deep into us. Yes, Debbie. Okay. So, it has eaten deep into us completely. So it's very very how am I going to say it? It's very crazy. All right, so yes, that's how the English language was implanted. If you even see the beginning of your course, you see implantation. Like it's a plan. It's a bloody plan. So this is unit 4. One second. All right, so we're going to be discussing there are actually 20 questions I was able to bring out from this unit. So let's talk about the key points. Let's talk about the key points. Key points. Implantation. What does that mean? The process of introducing and establishing English in Nigeria beginning around the 16th century. And in the 16th century, what did they use first? They used pidgin. Okay, so let's take note of that. It was pidgin that was first used. Then the initial form, the earliest form of English introduced was through trade, and that was through the pidgin English. The four key factors they use trade or commerce, they use religion, which is the missionary works, they use education, which they schooled people so they can support the missionary works, and colonialism, which they use to dominate us completely, take over our land, treat us like trash. Now, then we have the trade's dual role, aided by direct contact with traders and indirectly by freed slaves returning from Sierra Leone or Liberia who spread the language. We have missionary role, they opened schools, they trained clerks, interpreters, and initiated a formal acquisition of English. We have the colonial legacy. English is a major enduring legacy of the British colonial government. They call it a legacy. Crazy people. Then we have method. Implantation was achieved through diplomacy. When they say a person is diplomatic, just know that the person is a cunning bastard. Then we have results. English now occupies a vantage position and plays vital roles across almost all facets of Nigerian life. Yes, because it has eaten deep into our system, so we cannot avoid it. So, yeah, diplomacy. When they say, this person is very diplomatic, the person is cunning, run away because they will trick you and trick the other person. Just run. you feel like it's wisdom or they are wise. It's that wisdom that is killing us. That thing that we feel like is wisdom. That thing that we feel like we have sense. That's what's killing us. A nation is never built on capitalism. Earlier the better. We know. Okay, so um, let me just give you guys this. Let's see. Something we can use to rack. Very easy questions. Very, very easy questions. I'm going to, you know what, I'm going to set it as, let me see. Very, very easy questions. Okay. All right, 1 second. I'll send a link so we can just have a quiz on this. There are 20 questions though from this unit, and it's going to touch every part. So, yep, let's get ready.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming late.
You are late, you will pay fine. You must pay fine for coming late.
I went to go and start food somewhere. That's how I could even join. I thought
Go and buy power surge. Oh.
we have power bank, but power bank now. See,
I'm not talking
lights.
of
Nepa people just make it.
I'm not talking of power bank. I said the power surge. Like get
Sorry, sir. Oh yes, sir.
Please
Like
say
solar.
hi to the cats in the background.
Hey, sorry.
the cat. What's the name of your cat?
Shadow.
Hey Shadow. Why is your cat crying, guy?
I've not been inside since. That's why.
Oh, it misses you, huh? I also like pets. Anyways, all right, guys. I sent you a link. Just click on the link. It's going to take you to the page. We're almost wrapping up Unit 4 in English 151. So take it to the page. 1 second. I need to just. I'll be right back.
Alright, so. Good evening, Enio. Good evening, Deborah.
Okay. So are we ready? All right, so yes. Are we ready? Let's read the questions. All right.
Ah, so I'm coming.
Okay. Have we been able to access?
I'm about to access it. I'm about to access it.
Invest in solar power surgery.
No problem, sir.
It's just like at least you can get a good one, 400 or 500.
Sir, money. That
What
is money.
what happened? Why are you laughing?
Because it's money now. It is money I will use, someone will use to invest in it
If you invest
to
in it,
get
at
it.
least you know you don't need to bother about light again for the next 4 years till you finish your school. So, guy,
Ah, sir, is this thing timing? I'm seeing red and green, and I
okay,
also see time.
okay, that red and green is whichever one you get correct. That's what it means. Let me see.
What about the time one? I think the purple one
Which
looks
purple?
like time.
Time. Let me see.
Before the green, it looks like time. That's purple color.
No, there's no time there.
There's red.
There's no time.
Oh, I saw.
Oh, I do see it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm seeing it now. For real. I was not able to see
The
it on my
traditional
system.
English language from which it was transported to Nigeria is
All right, so let's
the
try
British.
ourselves.
All right. Yes.
Okay, the time is going to time you when you start and when you finish, I think. All right, so the traditional home
Oh,
of the English language from which it was transported to Nigeria is what? Come on, that's too easy. Let's go.
the Brit, the British, the British.
Isles. The
It,
British Isles, okay. Specifically known as England. Yes, that's the British Isles. That's correct. Let's get on to the next. Okay. So,
okay.
which geographical variety of English is explicitly mentioned as a result of the language interpretation, transplantation to different parts of the world?
We, wait. Sorry, sorry. Please come again, sir.
Which geographical variety of English is explicitly mentioned as a result of the language transplantation to different parts of the world?
Ah, another song. Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay, okay. That, that, it is. It's confusing. I don't know. It's not America. It's British, but okay. Is it not standard Nigeria English? No, I don't know.
Do we
Not
own the
English.
do we own the
American
English
English.
language?
No.
So which are you giving it to?
Oh, then then it is America, abi?
Click on
But
it.
but but the America they are
Click
not
on your
in
answer.
United. It's British. Is it now word in English?
Click on your
Word
answer.
English. Hey, okay. English. That's what it's done. America, Jerry. I click on America. I got it. America is a city. As a geographical variety resulting from the trans.
From
But
the
is it
Brit
America that owns it?
like they know from the British Isles, they spread it round in other parts of the world. America is easily spoken. They broke down the English and they spread it round. That's what it's saying. According to scholars like Adetubu and Banjo, The English language was likely introduced to the Nigeria area in the 16th century, please.
16. Okay.
17th century, rather, 17th century.
Ah, it makes me miss it.
Sorry, sorry, sorry. The 16th century was the one that came in for the pigeon, the coastal traders. That was in 16th century. But the unit mentions that English was introduced by coastal traders in the 17th century. The 16th century, it was pidgin that they were using. All right, next one. The initial form of the English language was introduced to Nigeria by traders in the coastal region was what kind of English? That's the pidgin. That's the one that was introduced. That's what we're talking about.
Now that to say,
The first form of this thing that was
okay.
introduced is the pidgin. All right. Now it says which key factor is credited with preparing the way for British colonialism? You know, they use stuff to control us. So it's preparing the way for British colonialism.
I'm coming.
Colonialism.
The
When
establishment
you
of
hear
Nigeria.
colonialism, you should know what's up.
Slave trade, right?
Con-
Yes.
Very good.
I've not even read it to finish. I just said that you are meant to know the meaning of colonialism. I just saw trade slave.
Because that is exactly that was their agenda. That was the agenda. All right.
Is this a dual one?
ENG 151 our guy.
Okay. ENG, sorry. ENG.
Now the
Is
trans
it English and communication? I want to know what agenda I'm
ENG
sorry.
151. Go and look at your cost. The transatlantic slave trade is English as a second language now in Nigeria. The transatlantic slave trade aided the implantation of English in Nigeria at least how many ways? Now, gifts. There were
Ah, I
four.
did not hear this of when.
Forget that one. You read it by yourself. There were four ways, okay, that they came in. The first way they came in was through trade, when they were trying to introduce this English, to implant this English, to infuse this English into us. Let me not vex too much because I'm speaking their language. Anyways, they used trade. After trade, they use religion. They came in the way of church. First of all, let's trade together. So, try and learn my language so we can communicate more and sell your people for guns, mirrors, and cheap textiles. You get. So let's communicate more. Then they now use what else? What else did they use? They use religion. They brought in the church. And the mission of the church, I dropped a letter in the group so you know the mission of what that all those missionaries were and the catechism and all that. So they were using it to form the catechist. The third way they used was after they brought in the church now started building schools and made English compulsory in the school. So they are stripping away our mind. That was what true education, implantation through education. And then after they've established all those one, they colonized us and control us. You see the way they were eating inside of us. So how many methods did I tell you about?
3.
Are you sure?
Oh, sorry, 4. But you
Now,
missed it.
under,
It's 2.
understand, am I true?
Okay, because I missed it here. I went to and click on 4.
Now, so that's how you do. They tell you expo, and you just quickly go and pick what is not even the answer. Hey, wahala, problem, problem. Those were the four ways in which they used to implant the English. Now, bringing the language to the traders and returning of freed slaves who knew English. They said the transatlantic slave trade aided the implantation of English in Nigeria. The transatlantic slave trade. So people that were now free from places like Sierra Leone and Liberia, they came back and they were employed as clerks and interpreters to speak this English language in the country. Those methods were the four methods that talks about it. But our text, the unit says that there were two ways that the transatlantic slave trade, when we talk about slave trade, it means selling of our people. You get? So the transatlantic slave trade aided implantation. The first one was to bring the language to the coast. That's where the traders were. Then the second one, the freed slaves will now come and start interpreting for them. So they freed some slaves that will come and interpret the language for them after they flog their head. So next question. Which group of people, after the slave trade was abolished, returned to places like Lagos and Badagry to spread the knowledge of English? We just answered that one.
Saludo. Hey, God. So salute. That's all. It's not very clear. Try
Yeah.
to enter one. So, oh. So if I presently answer the question from number one, it's not very coming back to
You need to minimize it.
number three, number four, pigeon, number five, six, number six, number seven.
Okay. So which group of people, after the slave trade was abolished, returned to places like Lagos and Badagry to spread the knowledge of English? We've talked about it already.
British
The freed
colonial
slaves. We said the freed
administrators.
slaves. It was the freed slaves that came back, and I said that they started interpreting, the English. They were employed as clerks, and they were interpreting the English to us.
Who are the freed traders? What is it called?
Freed
Who are the
slaves.
people?
Slave were then free, my dear sister. Was like freed and slaves,
Okay, okay, they are the ones that come back.
mm,
Okay,
to interpret for them.
okay,
Yes.
okay.
Uh,
Sorry. So they came back to us, like
they did not come back
to
to us. They came back
explain
to
what.
help interpret the colonial masters' language. They did not. They used them.
Oh, okay, okay. So which group of people after this?
So which of the following is not listed as a factor? Number eight, which of the following is not listed as a factor responsible for the implantation of the English language in Nigeria? I told you,
Responsible.
I
Which
told
of the
you four
following?
factors, but
Yes.
I didn't mention one inside all those four factors. Which one is not part of it?
I'm coming. Ah, shut up. Return of food establishment B. Yes,
Okay,
it's B.
all right. Establishment of centralized banking system. That is correct. Number nine, the coming of Christian missionaries in Nigeria is said to be the beginning of the dash of the English language.
D.
Yes, formal
Yes.
teaching and spread of the English language. That's correct. 10.
Yes.
Missionaries trained Nigerians to function as dash and catechists, thereby exposing them to English.
Teachers. Teachers.
Teachers, okay, that is correct. Yes, so that they're going to be able to support the missionary. So come, let me train you in my language. Then you support my mission, to spread the language more and captivate these people. Eh, 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 eh. All right.
Lambda.
Okay. So 11. The type of education introduced during the early European Christian missionary activities gave prominence to dash activities.
B. I even was studying on.
It gave prominence to, okay, yes, B, religious and literacy. So the purpose of the missionary education was to read the Bible, spread the religion of what the so-called religion they were talking about, and to train teachers or scribes so that they can be able to support the missionary work. Of course, so that's religious and literacy. In fact, the main purpose of the schooling system back then was based on language. It was just English based so that people can understand the language. That was one of the main purpose. 12. English is one of the major dash that Nigeria inherited from the British colonial government. Now they call it yeah,
Linguistic institution.
yes,
B.
language linguistic institution. Yes, very good. Now 13. The introduction of English into Nigeria is described as being achieved through dash rather than force.
Education.
That's what they call it, yeah, education. According to your unit, yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, I don't believe all these people.
And I English, they will not teach you in education, and you will speak it now. And they will teach you.
Don't let me start with these people, I beg. Which pair of Nigerian towns is repeatedly mentioned as an early site for both missionary activities and return of freed slaves? We've talked about the two towns,
Lagos and Paris.
Lagos and Badagry. Yes, in fact, if
I
you
said
go to
Badagry. I said Bariga. Badagry.
now, wow, Bariga,
So mistake. So you were rushing too. You are making me to rush. Like, no, no. So why are we rushing today like this?
why are we rushing as well? Because I want to go and sleep.
Yeah,
Tomorrow now, I'll wake up very early. I have a lot to do tomorrow. A lot.
All right.
The core issue addressed
But
by our Unit 4 is how English came to occupy a dash in Nigeria.
but I don't know this one.
Think now.
B.
Yes, B. A prominent and dominant position. English has
I have
occupied a
to say, no,
dominant
no.
position already in Nigeria. That's easy now. It has already occupied a prominent position. All right. The exploration activities that helped open Africa to the outside world included those of Mungo Park and Dash. Remember, let me just tell
Is
you about.
colonial?
Let me no no no. Let me tell you about Mungo Park. There were things based on the River Niger, okay, that they were trying to get. So they explored a lot on the in the Niger region. Okay, so what's
A. I.
Niger expedition? Yes, they explored. They really did a lot during that time. If you read about Mungo Park, you will know about all this uh stuff. 17. The education introduced by the Christian missionaries made English a dash on the curriculum.
D.
Yes, a
Sorry.
compulsory subject. Yes, made it a compulsory subject. Number 18. A person who serves as a writer or record keeper and who was exposed to English by missionaries is called a
Uh, uh,
scribe.
That
okay.
It's called a scribe. It's scribes that write and keep records. It's not yet in the Bible. The scribes, the Sadducees and Pharisees, the scribes, the teacher of the law,
Yes,
those
yes.
who write all those things down.
Yes. All right. That's every
Number 19, the fact that every language is adequate for users in every culture suggests that the English language widespread use in Nigeria is a dash.
So I read it again. My eyes flipped when you read it.
The fact that
Sir,
every language is adequate for users in every culture suggests that the English language widespread use in Nigeria is a dash. We already know what that is. We know what it is. In fact,
Widespread use. Like,
any
they use it in Nigeria, right?
mm,
So
the
yeah.
fact that every language is adequate for users in every culture suggests that English language widespread use. We had different languages. That's what the question is saying. How come that English language
so
had a widespread use in Nigeria? So it's used to what? Any asked a question on that, and I was able to tell her because she was kind of like saying,
look
if
at
we're going to
look
replace
at
English language as a leader,
mm.
what official language? And I said we were never a country in the first place.
Okay.
See,
Is
Historical
it
and
historical or social?
socio-political accidents.
That's
Exactly.
okay.
Because it's
Because some of
historical,
the
it's
things very
political. So it was an accident. If its use is not due to superior linguistic features, it must be due to external non-linguistic features like history and politics. Exactly. It's all these people that connive and enter into our life.
okay.
Okay. 20. The term used in the unit to mean the introduction and development of a language in a new environment is dash. Transplantation is a spread.
That,
Implantation is the introduction. Implantation is the introduction, so the implantation is correct answer. In fact, you understand that
mm,
this unit is telling us what? How the English language was implanted. And if you see the summary, what was written there is what? Introduced and established. Introduced and
mm, mm,
established. Establish.
mm,
80% and above is your pass mark.
100%. Papa. I don't know.
All right. Any further questions? Any further questions?
No, sir, I don't have a question.
All right. In the absence of no questions, please kindly read their summary again. Actually, um it's a very interesting summary. So read the summary again.
Oh, I do.
Okay. In the absence of no further questions, I'll draw the curtain right here. It's even 10 minutes to class, man, guy. I really need to go to the go.
thank you so much.
Sorry. Thank
Yes,
you,
Annie,
sir.
why do you have broke on your WhatsApp? What's going on? Like,
Steady,
Broke.
check, check.
yeah, if you look at her WhatsApp, you see one emoji with broke, and I'm like,
Broke.
what?
And broke. And they come, no more to see.
And the emoji you're using as if you're tired of everything. Ah,
Like seriously,
Okay.
guys.